Hey everyone, first I want to thank you for tuning in to the K95 3 Sports Show podcast. Just wanted to give you a heads up, we got some newer equipment that I was recording on last night and some things we got to tweak. So just giving you a heads up that when you listen to this week's program, even though it's a great program talking about the Vikings, the audio is not the best. I apologize for that, but still take a listen and still have a chance to win that Brandon Zylstra autographed cap. Listen for how to do that and go ahead and check out the program. Thank you guys, and hopefully we'll get this figured out for next week.
This is the K95-3 Sports Show podcast, brought to you by The Fan Zone in Wilmer's Candy Mall.
Welcome to the K95-3 Sports Show podcast. My name is Bo Staffis. I am your host. As usual, if you like what you hear, please hit the thumbs up button on this. If you continue to like what you hear, hit the subscribe button. Also on here, right next to it is the bell button on your phones. If you click that, you'll get push notifications each week when a new episode comes out on Wednesday. Thank you to the Fan Zone for sponsoring us. We appreciate you guys doing that. And get into the Candy Mall and check out what they've got. Packed show today. It's the Vikings season preview. We have later on in the show, I sat down last week with Tommy Kramer. He was in town at Pep's Barbershop, and he gave me a little interview, and I've got that on there. A little warning, it was in a barbershop, so through the first 60% of it, there was somebody blow-drying hair. So the first 60% isn't the best audio. You can hear us. It just got a blow-dryer in the background. And then the last 40% is a lot clearer. But still a good episode. It was still cool to see him and talk to him and see what he is all up to right now. Also, I'm sure some of you might be tuning in to hear how you could win the Brandon Zylstra autographed Vikings cap. Well, to do that, you will need to email me what the three of us on the show today are predicting for the Vikings' final record. And my email is K953sportsshow@gmail.com. That's K953sportsshow@gmail.com. And these numbers are going to be randomly throughout. We'll break it all down eventually, but we might be randomly talking about something, and I'm going to ask one of the guys or myself, and we're just going to give the record, and then we'll break them down later. So you have to listen to the whole thing. No skipping around and hoping you guess you guess the right time that we're listening. So sit back, relax, learn, listen to us, and maybe see if you agree with some of our takes. Comment below if you do not. So we're going to go ahead and get into who we got in. I brought in my father, Rolf Staffis. Hey, Rolf, how you doing?
I am back in civilization.
Yes. You just got back from a trip in Utah and Nevada and all the state parks. I'm sure that was a blast, but it's football season, so it's cold weather and football now. No more warm desert weather for you. And start off, we're going to talk about some of the new players just a little bit, just talk basically on them. I mean, we'll go more into depth because we're going to break down the offense and defense and everything else. But we'll go ahead and get in with the new players. To be totally honest, too, I mean, there isn't a lot of new players, especially starters. There is technically 3 new starters from last year because we drafted Bradbury. Now, technically, we got 3 new offensive line starters just because Elflein moved over a spot. But only two guys new on the offense. That, of course, is on the offensive line with Bradbury and Klein. We were at the draft party. We were on the front page of the sports section cheering the Bradbury selection.
Ralph's head got taken off. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well, DJ and I,
big arm in the way.
Yeah. DJ and I were on the front page of the. And so obviously we were all psyched about Bradbury. I ain't gonna sit here and pretend to know the up and down game of offensive linemen, especially during preseason football. But he seems to be doing okay, maybe a little above average. But overall, I've been satisfied with what he's done. But once the season goes along, it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah, there's always a learning curve when you're a rookie, especially with offensive line. You got to get chemistry with the guys and all that, and just facing off against defenses that you haven't seen
Yeah, and especially the center position because you're
Yes.
the quarterback
You're
of
the
the offensive
quarterback
line.
of that offensive line. You got to call out the blitzers. You got to call out the Mike linebacker. All that. So.
And I'm going to be a little bit of. I missed 2 of the preseason games because I was on vacation and I was not in a good reception area for things. So, but what I saw, Bradbury in the first 2 sessions or the 2 games and the 2 series that they actually ran, he looked good. So I'm kind of high on him. I'm kind of glad, and Elfline, and he originally was a guard, I believe.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Yep.
him moving to a guard makes me feel good, but I still don't know why we see Rashad Hill on this team yet, but that's fine.
Well, he's deaf, and at this point in time, we need depth.
Whether
we like him or not.
I think that's one of the things that as the season goes along, the offensive line is going to get better and better compared to hopefully compared to last year where it got worse and worse. As long as we stay healthy, So, right? You guys kind of agree, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with that, and I'm going to say that I'm going to rely on a little Sports Illustrated stuff here tonight because I'm a little green yet on this football season, but they talked about that the new system for offense is what is it called?
Zone run.
Yeah, outside zone system, and I'm assuming that's a running type of situation?
Yep.
Okay.
Different blocking scheme than last year. So
It's going to be a lot better for Delvin Cook. It's going to be a lot easier for our offensive linemen to run. So.
And I've also saw some things that have popped up on some of the sports things that they'll be running a lot more with those tight ends.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's probably why I'm assuming that's why they probably only kept 4 wide receivers.
Yeah.
They got 4 tight ends.
Well,
now, so.
yeah. Well, you got Doxson, of course. That was our 5th wide receiver now, the 2. So, So originally keeping 4. Yeah, exactly out of the original people that were in there for the preseason and stuff. Yeah, that's why they decided to get rid of the rest probably too. But so we got those. Obviously, you mentioned one of them. Irv Smith was another draft choice. I mean, I'm excited to see him in games more often, and I really hope he really takes it because, like you said, that 2 tight end set is going to be huge. Talk about another new player is a new player who's an old player, Shamar Stephan. I'm going to leave talking about Shamar till the defense because I want to talk a little bit more about Shamar, but. We'll talk a little bit more about Shamar then, but let's just jump right into the offense as a whole. Wide receiver wise, it's kind of what we expected. Obviously, Diggs and Thielen as the 1 and 2. Behind them though, I think we all knew that BB was going to be in the mix for sure. I think we all thought Zylstra was going to be, but obviously they did not like what he was looking like in the preseason at all, and they got rid of him. And we picked up that Josh Doxson, who was drafted the same year, just ahead of Laquan Treadwell. Last season, in 15 games, Doxson had 44 receptions for 532 yards with a 12.1 average, 2 touchdowns. Even though Doxson is your quote-unquote first-round bust because he was released by his original team and he hasn't put up what they expected him to, I think it's definitely a plus for us and a move in the right direction for depth-wise.
Well, I thought, the 2 preseason games I watched, I thought Treadwell actually caught passes and was serious about it. So I was kind of surprised. Evidently, the last 2 he kind of really messed up.
I think they're just showcasing them. They're just showing them. They're just giving them a chance.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting once again. Cousins obviously played with him, and so we've got a little bit of a history there. So that definitely does not hurt. Other than that, we also kept the rookie Johnson, Obese Johnson.
Is that what it's called?
Olabisi Johnson.
BB.
Olabisi. Yeah, we got BB and Olabisi. So a bunch of BBs, a bunch of Bs. So So once again, Thielen and Diggs are going to be great. And we expect that from them. But it'll be interesting to see. We really need a 3rd wide receiver to step up, whether it's Doxson or BB. I don't necessarily think it's going to be Johnson. I'll be surprised if it's Johnson.
I'm not really concerned about the quarterback situation. I'm not concerned about the wide receivers, the tight ends. We're back to the same old. Just hoping this line gels and protects Cousin, because if Cousin is protected, I think he can rip things up in this league. But if he gets pressured all the time. He's running around with his head cut off. I don't think it's going to work.
Oh, that was also with Flippo, with his scheme. I think with Kubiak and Stefanski there, it's going to help a lot, giving Kurtz a little bit more help with the drafting Bradbury and bringing in Klein. But the offensive line needs to hold up, and Delvin Cook needs to stay healthy so we can actually get a run game going, so it's not all on Cousins.
And I noticed, too, that they're trying to make him roll out more instead of just, being just a pocket passer, too. So
Yep.
I think you take a look at Green Bay, I hate to bring them up, but Aaron Rodgers does a lot of rollouts that frees him out there, too. So.
Well, when Kubiak was head coach in Houston, Matt Schaub was there. He had his best seasons as a starter, over 4,000 yards, Pro Bowls. I mean, if Matt Schaub can do it in that system, then Kirk Cousins definitely can rip it up.
Yeah, their best thing here is they signed Kubiak. I think that's going to really help that offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Stefanski.
Yep.
Stefanski.
Yeah. So it'll. So running back. We'll just touch a little bit on running backs. Delvin Cook, Alexander Madison, and then Amir Abdullah and Mike Boone. I mean, that's a very deep position. I definitely liked what I saw from Madison. Everybody loved what they saw from Boone again for the second year straight. Abdullah is Abdullah. I think he made the team because he's going to be the punt returner, kick returner, and that's about it. But
I liked what I saw from Abdullah. If he had to fill in at running back, I think we can definitely rely on him.
Yeah. I don't.
We just got to rely on holding on to the ball too. It seems like that's part of one of his problems.
Well, that was also in Detroit with a crappy offensive line too.
But like you said, offensive line, we touched on it a little bit. Brian O'Neill's questionable. I thought I'd say that he was supposed to play the first game. I don't know if they've updated that recently. So that is huge. We need him healthy and back in because, like you mentioned, Dad, Hill is so hit and miss. I mean, he looked okay during the preseason, but maybe he's got a little less pressure because he's a backup. But once again,
I noticed in the 2 games that he played, with the first 2 preseason games in the offense series, he looked good. I didn't see him give up anything, but he scares me from last year.
Yeah. No. I think we all
maybe he's improved now that he's a backup. Maybe
it could be
maybe he's working harder because he doesn't. Maybe he wants to be the starter.
A new hold always helps. A new scheme.
Yep. That too. So.
Yep.
But we definitely need O'Neill back coming against Atlanta, who's got very young and very talented defensive linemen there.
Yep.
So I've been hearing a lot of people talk that we're going to run the ball more. Is that going to be our cup of tea? We're going to run the ball more?
I think so. I think we're definitely going to.
I
think we're one of only 2 or 3 teams in the NFL that has an actual fullback on their roster.
Right. Yeah.
That's still C.J. Ham, or
Yep. C.J. Ham's still there. Yep. So
the hamster's still here.
Yes, he is. So
I like him.
Yeah. No, he's solid and he can catch and run still. So overall, that's what we got for the offense. Quick, Dad, what do you have for the final season record for the Vikings?
Oh, sure. You go to meeting number 1.
Yes.
10-6.
Okay, 10-6, and we'll break it down later. This is just for the
10-6.
10-6. This is just for the Brendan Zylstra contest. So,
all right.
10-6, K95.3sportshow@gmail.com. All right, now we'll jump to the defense here and talk defense. Once again, almost all the same starters as last year, except for on the defensive line at defensive tackle was Shamar Stephen. So I'm going to take this moment, as I did last year, and pumped up Danielle Hunter, and I'm going to do the same thing with Stephen. Show me something, Shamar. Show me something. We gave you, where is it here? We gave him $5 million this year, $12.5 million over 3 years total to come in and be our defensive tackle next to Linval. Let's see you do something. Let's see you just do something out of it. So, because here's what we got. I'll just mention. Last year I talked about Danielle Hunter and him earning his money. He ended up getting 26 more tackles and 7.5 more sacks. So, Shamar Stephen had 110 more snaps last year with Seattle than he did 2 years with the Vikings. He started almost all of those games. 3 less tackles. 110 more snaps, 3 less tackles. So that's what I'm saying. You need to come in and you need to take over what Sheldon did. Sheldon had 49 tackles last year and 4.5 sacks. So that is like 14 more tackles than Stefan had all of last year. So he needs to step in and at least match Sheldon Richardson's 49 tackles and 4.5 sacks for me to say that he had a successful season.
A little more speed than Linville. He can get through there if Linville is still garnering, the double teams and all that.
He's in a position he's supposed to get sacks.
Yes,
in his position, he's the sack tackle.
He's the Kevin Williams of the team.
What's his size? What's his height and weight?
Give me
1 second.
5 seconds here.
1, 2, 3,
4, 5. He's 6'5", 309 pounds. That's what they have. So I mean, he's a tall guy, and he's got.
Randall was 6'2",
and 295.
Yeah, he was small, but he was a small D tackle back then. Yeah. So that's my call out for the year is Shamar Stefan. Show me something this year. Show us that you're worth that $13 million, the $5 million this year. So that's defensive line. Otherwise, obviously.
Give me 75% of John Randall and Stefan, and we'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, and let's get back 100% of Everson Griffin.
Yes.
I mean, I think he is the wild card.
Yes,
he is the wild card
on the defense.
That way too. Yeah.
He's now had the rest of last year and the off season to really get his mind right, get things situated, and it sounds like Griffin needs to get in there and get a little. He doesn't have to go back to what he did, when he was 2 years ago.
That'd be nice.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. But I don't expect that.
How many games he missed last year? 6?
5.
I mean,
that's a good guess, wouldn't it?
if Everson would be okay with maybe switching it up, maybe going to the left side every once in a while, and letting Daniil go on the right side.
Yeah, because
that's where Daniil got his sacks.
Yeah, I really did like Daniil.
Once Everson came back, he wasn't the same. He was going against the left tackles most of the time. That's the blind side. Most of the time, that's going to be the offensive line's ancher is that side. So. I definitely liked him over there, and then of course Weatherly did awesome in Griffin's spot too. So I mean he's definitely an up and comer too on the defensive line. But so that's what kind of I take a look at the defensive line side. Go to linebackers. Anthony Barr.
He
needs
Barr
to show it too.
Yeah, he needs to show that we're glad that he stayed. That he stays.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I think those are the 2 question marks on the defense: Rhodes and Barr. I think they'd rather be the ones to step up.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Now you paid Barr, continue to play as you did or better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The rest of them, I've been impressed by Alexander. How he's come around.
That's
he grew up.
Alexander. Most of all Viking fans were calling for them to be released and let go after their first year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Alexander sucked his first year.
Yeah, and so did Wayne's. He looked lost also.
Yeah.
He got better every year. And now Alexander really stepped up last year.
And don't forget, we're getting Mike Hughes back.
Yep, Mike Hughes will.
Is he fully healthy? He's starting or
yeah, it says questionable on here. So,
if anything,
who will replace him? Because
McKenzie.
Well, Mackenzie Alexander will sit there, and I bet you we'll see a lot of the
three
big,
safety.
Yeah, the 3 safety. The 3 safety with Curse coming down and playing up against the slot type of thing, or going up against the tight end or something. I bet you that's probably what we'll see a lot, just because the depth on the defensive backs are a little shallow, I guess.
You'll probably see a lot of 4-4-3.
Yeah. So we need Xavier Rhodes to step up a little bit because I think he was down last year, and
we'll get that away.
Yeah.
the faking into the injuries, getting off the field.
So that's how I take a look at the defense. And go ahead, DJ, tell me what your prediction for the end of the season record for the Vikings.
I'll say 11-5.
11-5. Okay, so K95.3sportshow@gmail.com. That is your second one for the Brendan Zylstra autographed cap. So keep going here. Let's I don't know if there's anything more on defense you guys want to talk about.
Well, Sports Illustrated calls Harrison Smith all-world safety.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody even want to argue about that?
No, he's my boy.
Yeah.
He's my boy.
He's probably the top 3 in safeties right now.
For sure, yeah, you could, yeah. You go across the league and talk to any of the experts. If he's not 1, he's 2, and if he's not 1 and 2, he's 3.
Yep.
I wonder if he's got free reign out there.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I bet you. I bet you at this point in his career and what he's done, I bet you Zimmer gives him a little.
He's the quarterback of that defense. There's no doubt about it. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's unbelievable because he comes up sometimes in that line and fakes that blitz, and in the next play the quarterback goes, "Oh, he's going to fake it again." Bam.
Yeah, he's in the backfield.
There's no safety out there right now. That's him. He is the best safety in my mind.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So, special teams wise, we'll just touch on this a little bit. Obviously, we had the interesting thing with sending the fifth round
Ravens.
pick to the Ravens for Vedvik. Obviously it sucks that it fell through, but in a way, I'm kind of happy to see Spielman taking chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
for a Minnesota team to take a chance. That's a miracle.
It's a 5th rounder. It's not the end of the world.
Right, yeah.
No, a lot of I've been hearing a lot of people on sports shows saying it's a 5th round, yes, but there's a lot of those players are going to make the team, yes, but as backups. Yeah, and also one thing is it lit a fire under Dan Bailey.
Yep, that's where I was going.
I know.
You read my mind now? The only time when I watched ESPN while I was gone, that's one thing they were talking about was Bailey.
and sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
So it took my thunder. That's right.
Yeah, but no, I agree. He definitely lit something under Dan Bailey. We thought he might still be the punter though, Vedvik, but obviously that didn't happen. And it was all about the hold. It was all about holding the ball, and I think that's who Zimmer is kind of scapegoated as the problem with the holding the last couple of years. Britton Colquitt, who's as they say, arguably one of the better holders in the NFL. So that's huge, and he's a solid punter, by the way. He's a solid punter, which is his main job. But Abdullah for punt return, kick return. So we'll see how that works.
And once Mike Hughes gets healthy, he'll probably take over the punt returns too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Hughes back there either. Yeah, no, he was solid in that in college. So that's what we got for special teams. We'll go ahead and jump into bold predictions. Bold predictions. This will be for the Vikings team. We'll have you go first, DJ. Bold prediction for the Vikings as a whole or for the Vikings player. Go ahead.
I'm going to say Dalvin Cook, 1,200 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. And throw 500 receiving yards with 5 touchdowns in there.
Yeah. No, I like it. Father?
What's mine? Okay, I'm going to go with Daniil Hunter. And let's see, what's been his highest sack total? 14.5, or was it?
Yeah, 14.5 last year.
Okay. I am going to push him to 19.
19.
Ooh, right up there
19.
with the league leading.
Yeah.
I love him. He's just a
defensive MVP talk, maybe? Because he was early in the year last year.
If he's healthy and he's in there all the time, yeah, I like to watch him. I might have to buy his jersey.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I didn't say that.
Yeah. I like both of those. And actually, in a way, my prediction this year is the same as my prediction last year because it didn't come true because of injury. Was DJ stole my thunder a little bit. Cook will be a top 3 running back at the end.
I can see that.
At the end of the year, he will be a top 3 running back overall in the NFL at the end of.
Will be the best all-around running back the Vikings had.
Yep.
Chuck Foreman.
It's all about health, though.
Yep. Chuck Foreman even said it. He can even be better than him.
That's why I want to see that flare pass to him out in the flat. Go back to Chuck Foreman days. Fran Tarkenton. I'm sorry, I'm old, but I'm calling him Fran Tarkenton and the Chuck Foreman out in the flat, and then poof, he always took off.
Yep.
So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So those are all good bold predictions. We'll look back at them at the end of the year, and of course we'll hit them all.
Well, I didn't say that Daniil Hunter would be the number 1 sack guy.
That's a bold prediction, considering you have Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, even J.V. Clowney.
They're all going to get hurt.
Yeah.
For our sake, I hope Khalil Mack does.
I hope the whole team in Chicago.
Yes, definitely.
I got Sports Illustrated, and they're picking Chicago to be 4th in our division.
Sports Illustrated's got them 4th in our division?
They got Detroit ahead of Chicago.
What kind of drunk writer was writing that?
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised just because
their offense.
That's what they're used to doing. Is they come out of nowhere, they win the division for one season, and then they go back to average or irrelevant for 3-4 seasons. Then they come out and they win the division, then they come back, they're irrelevant for 3 seasons, and they come back and win it. That's kind of been the Bears' MO for the last 20 years.
The only thing they lost on defense was Adrian Amos.
With that
defense.
But the way they did last year, you can't duplicate.
No, not with the turnovers.
That's I think where they're relying. I just paged over to their schedule, and compared to our schedule, they look a lot easier schedule than we did. And
it should be.
Yeah, but anyway.
Conspiracies.
Yeah, exactly.
Conspiracy.
Exactly.
And that's what. And if I can go to the schedule. Are we going to talk about that?
Speaking of the schedule, great segue, Father.
Thank you. Hey, good for something.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take a look here. And for the Brandon Zylstra autograph cap, my prediction is 11-5 also. So 11-5. If you heard mine and you missed what my dad said and what DJ said, you're going to have to rewind it because you missed it. It happened earlier in the show. Rewind, listen, and see if you can catch up. And remember, you take all 3 of our what we pick for the records, and you email me at K953sportsshow@gmail.com. K953sportsshow@gmail.com for your chance to win the Brandon Zylstra autographed cap. So let's go ahead and break it down a little bit. Obviously, I definitely our start of the season is definitely easier. I think it's a little easier there, but let's take a look here. We start off with Atlanta at home. I think we all kind of got probably a W there.
Thank God we're facing Green Bay early at Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay at home, at their home. That's too good for 2 reasons. 1, weather-wise, and 2, hopefully they're still not really in sync as an overall team with the new coaching and stuff. So.
I got 2-0 at that point.
Yeah, me too. At home against Oakland,
3-0.
That should be a win. At Chicago,
3-1.
Yeah, that's a loss. I mean, we could go 15-0 and have the last game of the season there.
I would be hesitant with the Oakland just because of
it's at home though.
Yes, but still facing Antonio Brown. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he is still one of the best talented wide receivers in the league.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, he's not going to win the game for him though.
No, but
yeah, I hear you. I mean, maybe it'd be a surprise, but I mean that's the thing. Oakland was horrible last year. Yes, they added Brown, but
so was Buffalo, and look what happened to us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's always those trap games.
So that's the trap game right there.
Maybe I could see that. Maybe if we're looking, in between Chicago and Green Bay's game, I can see that.
That's a trap game right there.
Trap game for me is New York Giants when we go to New York Giants.
Oh, jeez. If we lose that game, well, it's probably not going to be Manning. I bet you Manning won't be starting.
No, I think he will.
You think so?
I think he will.
I'll be surprised.
Listening a little bit to ESPN the other night, too, and I hate to keep quoting these guys because some of these guys are really off the wall on some of their predictions, but they said that the Vikings would have to be 8-0 at home to be able to be 10. Well, they got predicted to be 11-5, but they said they'd have to be 8-0 at home, and all their losses would be on the road.
I can see that.
Because Philadelphia at home, Redskins at home, Denver at home, Detroit at home, of course the divisional opponents. Yeah, no, our home division, our home schedule is definitely the weaker of the two. Because when we go away, we've got
Chargers,
we've got
Dallas.
Yeah, Kansas City and Dallas. Kansas City and Dallas back-to-back weeks.
That's gonna be rough.
Yeah, that's where we might lose 2 in a row there, and all the Fairweather fans will start crying that it's the end of the world, I'm sure. But so New York, they're gonna beat New York. I'm sorry, they're
4-1 at that point.
Yeah. Philadelphia,
That's going to be a tough one.
That's going to be a tough one at home, but
unless Carson Wentz is hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Which will probably be.
He might. I mean, he's hurt twice already, so maybe he'll do it again.
Yeah. Detroit, not too worried. Washington, not too worried. Like I said, that Kansas City and Dallas games, the 3rd and 10th of November, that's going to be interesting. It'd be nice if we could steal one of those.
I would say it'd be Dallas.
I would agree. Yeah.
Because with Kansas City's offense, that's so explosive. With Hill and
we could be 6-4 or 7-3 at that point.
With Hill and Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce.
Yep.
I mean, you add in Shady McCoy.
Yep. So then at home, Denver, late bye week, which can be good and bad, depending on how it is. If you got it, but then we come out against Seattle. Once again, it's like we play Seattle every year, 3 times a year. I mean, we're always playing Seattle.
That's usually there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's going to be another tough game, but that's a winnable game.
Nope. Prime time.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, I got Purnell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but do I think they win?
Yes, we can.
So that'll be a wild card game there. Who knows? That'll help determine the end of the season record for us. Home against Detroit, going against the Chargers.
It's at LA.
Yeah, at LA. It's in December. They're notoriously bad in December. Who knows what's there too? They're another team that seems to accumulate a lot of injuries every year.
Yep, and it all depends on if Melvin Gordon's going to be back. As running back, he gets his touches, he gets in there. But, I mean, it all depends on if Joey Bosa stays healthy. Derwin James is hurt right now.
Wide receiver core is always...
Keenan Allen is always up
kind
and
of
down.
banged up. Yep.
It all depends on it.
Yep.
Hunter Henry.
Yep.
That's kind of my wild card game to either go from 10-6 to 11-5.
Yeah. So there we got then home, which is nice. The last 2 games, Green Bay and Chicago. So we're at home for the last 2 games. Once again, it'd be nice if one of those 2 games push us into the division win and stuff like that. But obviously we gave our overall records earlier throughout the program. So like I said, if you want that Brendan Zylstra cap and you missed our final overall record for the Vikings, make sure you go through and find those and email them to K953sportshow@gmail.com. K953sportshow@gmail.com for that. Final thoughts? Do you guys have anything that we did not talk about that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, is it true that Aaron Rodgers has back problems? He didn't play in the preseason, or is that a big?
Yeah, they were holding him out anyways, and they were going to play him that 3rd game, but it was up in Quebec, right? The field was just trash.
Yeah.
And they're like
80-yard field too.
Yeah. Well, no, they made it. They shrunk it to 80 yards because some of it was just worthless.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was.
So they held him out of that, I think, just
because.
I
don't blame him. I mean,
yeah. So he was supposed to play the 3rd preseason game.
But I'll make a prediction on Aaron Rodgers going down this year.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
By Anthony Barr.
Yeah, that would be fun.
People in Wisconsin would be coming over the border.
I'd say they would drink more after that, but I don't know if that's possible. But
pretty much.
Maybe they'll hit their cousin, their wife, a little harder that night or something. Yeah. I don't know, but
things got turned.
I appealed everybody to go on the donor list. Because if you donate your liver to someone in Wisconsin, they need it.
I thought he was just being nice.
And speaking of Wisconsin and Green Bay, next week's show will be the lead up to the Green Bay game, and I'll be bringing in every year now. I think this is what we're going to do. It's going to be Dr. Brian Paulson and the Packer backer Scott Watkins. It's going to be us 3 again talking next week to preview that. So we'll have an enemy here. And he'll try to talk up the Packers, and we'll just laugh at him and giggle. So
hopefully we'll be 1-1, and he'll be 0-1. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Who they play first?
Chicago. Thursday night.
I picked them to lose that game.
Yep. So it'll be good to see. It'll be a good. I think right now though we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into I'm not going to talk any Twins.
Oh, I was getting prepared.
Oh, sorry. We're just going to do a Vikings preview. As many people saw, Tommy Kramer was in town last week at Pep's Barbershop, and I stopped in there and did a little interview with him, and we'll go ahead and hit that interview right now. All right, I'm here now with Tommy Kramer. He's come to Wilmer. He's at Pep's Barbershop. First off, how you doing today, Tommy?
Doing good. Waiting to get a haircut.
Yeah, well, you're in the right place. First off, what are you up to these days? What's going on? What are you pushing?
What we do is we go around all these different cities around, around Minnesota, and they're all over the place, and we try to raise money for the JJs. We have these football camps for kids from K school all the way up to 8th grade, and
awesome.
it's all free for all of them. So we raise money by selling pictures and autographs, and so the kids can have a free time up there.
All right, awesome. That is awesome. That's cool to hear. Want to just touch a little bit into your playing days. Who was your favorite player or players that you played with?
That I played with?
Yeah.
Well, all the receivers that were open, I liked all of the ones that were open. So I could get rid of the ball quick.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, no, we had some real good talent with Rashad and Sammy White in that era, and then we had Joe Sensor and Steve Jordan and AC Anthony Carter and Hassan Jones. We had some good receivers.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Just do a quick description of playing for Jerry Burns and Bud Grant. What was it like playing for them? How did their styles differ?
Well, Bud was very quiet. He never really yelled at anybody. Only one time did I ever see him lose his cool, and that was when threw a pass to Rashad right on the sideline in front of him, and Rashad catches the ball and is in bounds, and the referee calls him out, and Bud took off his headset and throw it on the ground, and how can he caught that ball, and that's the first time I ever seen any emotion from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That one play.
Yeah.
Put him over the edge.
That was it. And then with Burnsy, he's the funniest person you've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Without trying to be funny. He'd be saying something, and then all of a sudden he started laughing. He just remembered what he said.
Oh my God!
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Two more quick ones here. One more. Who was the defender that you hated seeing lining across?
Well, there were several of them, and it'd have to be LT, Lawrence Taylor.
Yes.
It had to be Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of good players back in that era.
Yeah. It was a tough man sport back. It was really
tough.
Yeah,
the rules are just so different. They could hit you anytime they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, on my podcast last season, everybody that came in and was on my podcast, we'd asked them to give me their Mount Rushmore of Vikings players. So 4 Viking players, no coaches, all players. 4 players. Who would you put on the Vikings from day one to today? Who would you put up on the Mount Rushmore of Vikings players? 4 players.
Oh, I think you'd have to say, Carl Eller, Jim Marshall, Studwell, and I'd say Gary Zimmerman.
Ah, nice. That was all those that have been mentioned, but Gary Zimmerman was never mentioned. That's a good one, though.
Yeah,
people forget about the O-line. They don't get the love.
Well, he kept my backside clear.
It makes totally sense why you would put him up there for that reason. Everybody took him for granted, but you. But well, awesome. Hey, I'll just finish it up with that, and thank you for these 5 minutes, and thanks for coming to town, and thank you for doing this for the kids and helping them out.
All right.
Appreciate it, and thanks for the memories.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it. Mo.
Tommy.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. All right, and that was the Tommy Kramer interview. Super nice guy. Sat there and talked to him for a little bit. Had a big old thing of snooze in his cheek, spit into a cup, and I'm sure he was 3 sheets to the wind already. It was mid-afternoon, so. But nice guy. He very cool thing that he does for that he helps out with his one buddy, and for getting kids who can't go to football camps, giving them money to go to football camps. So if you're able to look and find that and actually give to that, go ahead and do that. But other than that, once again, go back through if you missed it, find what record my dad Rolf gave, the record DJ gave, and the record I gave for the Vikings' final overall season record, and email that to K953sportshow@gmail.com for your chance to win a Brandon Zylstra autographed Vikings hat. Obviously, he's with the Panthers now, but I mean, he's a Viking. He's a Viking forever, and he's a Viking fan forever, being from the area. And who wouldn't want the local boys' autograph on a Vikings cap in the area? So make sure you listen to it. Hit subscribe. Hit thumbs up. Comment below if you like or disagree with anything we said. We can kind of go back and forth. Follow me on Twitter, K953 Sports Show, at K953 Sports Show on there. Also, I'll be talking to the Vikings on there all the time. So do all that. Thank you, Father. Thank you, DJ, for coming in.
You're welcome.
Pleasure as always.
Yes.
Fun.
Yes, we'll be hearing more from you guys as the season goes on, I am sure. Thank you all for listening.